It is a little, and I think one of the other family men, I knew it at the time. But if I'm doing it, it'll probably be... Hey everyone, Cleo here, and today we're talking about the books that I'm reading in the month of February. So I'm still continuing with going through my physical TBR from the longest book down to the shortest book. I will be mentioning 5 books on this TBR. It is a little bit daunting since all of them are going to be over 500 pages long, so it is definitely still a little bit of a stretch one. I'm hoping that March will be the month in which I'm getting rid of all of the over 500 page books, because that will definitely severely increase my reading pace, severely increase the pace in which I'm going through this TBR. Now for the month of February, there is a possibility that I'm going to be carrying over a book from January, because I've been making my way through that book super slowly. In principle, if I read like 60 pages in it for the remainder of the month at this point in time, I should be able to finish it. So that's kind of my goal, but I will say that up until yesterday, I have not been reading that amount of pages in the book at all, not even half of that amount of pages, so it is a little bit of a stretch goal to some extent. So we'll see what ends up happening, but if need be, it moves into February as well. But in that case, hopefully I won't have too much left in it to go. I won't have too much left to go in it. Whichever structure makes sense. But so first one on my TBR is The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen. I've read the synopsis for this one a few times, but I keep on forgetting it. But so I think it is a novel that takes place in the lead up to Christmas, and it deals with a family in which one of their members has been struck by Alzheimer. And I think one of the other family members is determined to have one last family Christmas together. As far as I'm aware, it's very much a representation of middle-class America. Jonathan Franzen is very well known in the literary fiction scene, and he has quite a few books that have been very much lauded. So if I like The Corrections, I definitely will have more of his works to dive into. I think he also had a new release come out in 2021, for example, that I've also been hearing good things about. So hopefully I like it. It is another big chunky literary fiction, which is also the book that I'm currently struggling with, because I do like literary fiction, but when literary fiction becomes this long, it is a struggle. Hopefully this one will be a little bit more easy for me to get through. In any case, this one does have an audiobook to help me out in case I'm struggling with my focusing power. Second longest book left is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. Now I was gonna reread this premise before talking about it, but it does not have a premise anywhere on the physical book, which is a choice. I mean, I might be missing it, but I don't see how. It doesn't have it at the back, it doesn't have it on the back, it does not have it on the inside, so where else would you have it? So this is the start of another fantasy series. At the time in which I purchased this, I had only heard one person talk about this, and I actually won this in a giveaway from her channel, which is Yasmina Edina. I will link her channel down below, and so I really need to get around to it. I've had this book on my shelves for like over 2 years, probably, maybe even over 3 years. And since then, I've slowly seen more and more people pick it up. It's still not something that a whole lot of people pick up, but I've seen more and more people pick it up, and most of the people that pick it up actually really enjoy it. So I'm very much hoping that I will as well. As I have indicated, I have forgotten everything about this book, except for the fact that it's fantasy. It's a trilogy. People like it. Third book on my TBR for February is Jade War by Fonda Lee. So this is the second book in the Greenbone saga. I read the first book in January. It was a 4-star read. I was hoping for a 5-star, but so I'm still hopeful that this one will give me that 5-star experience. So in this one, we're basically following characters from one crime family within the city of Janloon. The city of Janloon very much is known for its jade trade, and this family, along with its rival clan, are very much involved within the jade trade, and so the book very much features these sort of like maneuvering between the two clans, both sort of like outward openly warfare type maneuvering and more like insidious sort of like strategic warfare going on. And so I really did enjoy the first one, but I was still missing something, and I'm hoping that the second one is going to give me that experience. You know, we've laid the groundwork for these characters, for this world, and so hopefully we'll get around to business in this one. The final book off of my physical TBR that I'm mentioning here is The Old Curiosity Shop by Charles Dickens. Now, I don't know much about this one, except for the fact that it is probably going to take place within an old curiosity shop. I did at some point have the goal to read all of Charles Dickens. I'm not necessarily pushing towards that goal anymore, but I've read enough of his works that I might as well continue. And this one I'm definitely going to do because, you know, it is still on my physical TBR. I want to get rid of everything on my physical TBR. I want to have tried everything on there. So I'll hope I'll have a better experience with this one than I had with the Pickwick Papers earlier this year, because in January I DNF'd the Pickwick Papers. So I'm hoping that this one has more of an overarching plot for me to enjoy, because, you know, the Pickwick Papers didn't have one, and that really is something that I need to be able to continue in a book, for me to be able to push through slower passages within a book, for example. And Charles Dickens is known for being paid by the word, and he definitely has more words in there than is needed. So if there's not an overarching plot, I'm definitely gonna have struggles with this book, and I will allow myself to put it down. But so hopefully that will not be the case for the Old Curiosity Shop. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because of its title. I expect this to be like super cozy read, but I could be completely wrong about that one. So this is the final one that I'm putting on like my official February TBR that will also have an impact on Project Zero TBR. And then the final book that I'm going to be putting officially on that TBR is The Name of All Things by Jen Lyons. This is a reread. This is the second book in A Chorus of Dragons. I will be reading this as part of the Chorus of Dragons read-along, which is hosted by Sarah from Voyage Through Words. I will have her channel linked down below, as well as the announcement video for this read-along. We are reading this along together in Discord, and so every few chapters or something like that, you have a sort of dedicated channel that you can discuss everything that has happened within that set of chapters. So it's a very nice way to discuss what you're reading along with other people's why you're going through it. The Name of All Things follows the same sort of structure that the first book, The Rune of Kings, did. So we had 3 layers to the story. We have a report that is being presented to somebody. That report will consist of a conversation between people who will then take turns to tell the story of what happened leading up to that point in time. So we have multiple time points within this story, we have multiple perspectives within this story, and within each of these stories we will also have footnotes from the original person who did the report. So it's a little bit complex if I explain it like that, and I will definitely say that when you first dive into it, it can be a little bit complex, especially in the first one, because there is more of time difference there than is the case within this second one. The second one is in principle my least favorite within this series, but I still definitely enjoyed it a whole lot, and there's some very interesting things that go in with this one, especially when it comes to the culture that we're diving into. Now, in some way this is a reset, but not really. So the report layer and the conversation layer, they take place after the events of the first book, but the events that are being narrated, the events that are being told in these alternate perspectives, they are taking place around the same time that book 1 was taking place. So basically in this second book we are catching up to what has happened with another character that is crucial to our story up until this point in time. If you are still debating joining the read-along, I definitely highly encourage you to do so. You aren't too late, you can still catch up. We are only up onto the second one, so there's definitely still time for you to catch up. Now that is the only thing that I'm still like officially putting on my TBR. I will say that I'm still very much tempted to also join the Witcher along. So there's also a read-along for the Witcher series, and I want to read the Witcher series in 2022, so it would be like that perfect time to do it. However, it would also jeopardize my Project Zero TBR. So I am still debating it. I will definitely not buy them. I will get them through my library. I'll have to read them in Dutch in that case, but in any case, it is both the English and the Dutch are translations because it's originally written in Polish, and especially the first ones are pretty short, so I might do it. I might allow myself to do it, so you might see it in my wrap-up for February. But if I'm doing it, it's more likely that it'll happen towards the end of February if I have made decent enough progress in that TBR, because let's not forget they are all over 500 pages long. I'm gonna have to work for it. I don't think the page count is anything that I haven't achieved yet in the past, but it definitely also isn't a super comfortable page count neither. But so, that having been said, these are the books that are on my official TBR. As I said, The Witcher isn't officially on there. It might pop up, but I haven't decided yet. So let me know what your plans are for the month of February. What are you most excited about reading in this month? And we can discuss further in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you guys for the next one. Bye!